Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to NFL Thoughts. I am very late on this, obviously, but I just decided that, you know what, now that Kellen Moore has been hired by the LA Chargers as their new offensive coordinator, I figured now is a good time to now say my thoughts on Kellen Moore and the Cowboys parting ways. So, I saw Undisputed earlier, and I literally only watched the first couple of minutes of the video, and I just hated it. Just straight up hated it. They feel like it's Dak Prescott's fault that we've been a disappointment and whatever, and all I do is spit on that. I spit on Skip and Shannon and their opinions on how they feel about the whole situation and why we've been a bitter disappointment the past few years and whatever. But it is what it is. Y'all weren't saying that when Dak Prescott. Y'all weren't saying that when the Cowboys went one and done and lost to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in 2016 in Dak Prescott's rookie year. Y'all weren't saying that when we just unfortunately came up short because we couldn't get a stop on defense when we lost to the Rams in the divisional round in 2018. Y'all weren't saying that then. But now, all of a sudden, now that Kellen Moore has been our offensive coordinator, that's really been when Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless has been hating on Dak Prescott. That's really been when they've both been hating on him and talking about how poorly he's been playing. But y'all weren't saying that his first 3 years. Why? Because Kellen Moore wasn't there. Or at least he wasn't our offensive coordinator. Now all of a sudden he's here and there's questions and concerns. But yet you want to say it's Dak Prescott's fault? You want to say it's Dak Prescott's fault while we continue to disappoint? A guy that I just truly loved, and he was one of my favorite quarterback to watch, not just because he played for the Cowboys, but just I loved the way he operated and stuff, and the way he played out there on the football field. But it was Tony Romo. I loved that guy. I loved him. I was a Tony Romo fan. I loved him. But even I can tell you that we didn't have very much playoff success when Tony Romo was our quarterback. But y'all were always so quick to want to defend Romo a lot of times, and whatever, and saying that he is a great quarterback. But when Dak Prescott has now been the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, now all of a sudden y'all want to hate and whatever. Tell me this right now. Was Tony Romo the problem was Tony Romo the issue when we lost the playoff game against Seattle, when we lost the playoff game against New York, when we lost the playoff game against Brett Favre and the Vikings, when we lost the playoff game against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers? Was he the problem? No, y'all are going to say, oh no, it was the defense, or it was terrible play calling by Jason Garrett or whatever and stuff. But now that Dak Prescott is here, and Dak Prescott, in my opinion, has somewhat improved as a passer since his first few years in the league, his first 3 years. And I feel like he's been improving, but I feel like, unfortunately, this year was a bad year. All of a sudden, now y'all, with Dak Prescott, now y'all want to hate on him. But y'all never hated on Tony Romo, though. Y'all didn't hate on him. And I loved Tony Romo. I loved him. But y'all never hated on him. But y'all hate on Dak Prescott? Are you kidding me? No. Something's wrong with that picture. Something's wrong with that picture. I just want to say this. I'm not saying that I think that the Dallas Cowboys are going to be way more successful. I think Dak Prescott will be way more successful in 2023 without Kellen Moore than Kellen Moore with the Chargers. I'm not saying that, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see. I'm just intrigued and I'm excited because now Mike McCarthy doesn't have now Mike McCarthy has leverage to work with as far as control of the offense. Mr. Golden Boy is out of the out of the picture. Now he's out there in LA with the Chargers. Now he can get his own people. Now Mike McCarthy can bring in his own guys. He can bring in his own quarterbacks coach. He can bring in his own offensive coordinator. And I best believe you, he is going to want to bring back that West Coast offense that he ran when he was in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. I promise you he is going to do that. And I bet you, how much you want to bet it'll work? How much you want to bet that it'll work for Dak Prescott running the West Coast offense with Mike McCarthy and the offensive play calling? How much you want to bet that that this will work? That this will work indefinitely for Dak Prescott? How much you want to bet? The West Coast offense is short, quick throws that need to come out on time. Precisely, and that is where Dak Prescott is at his best with that type of stuff. The option routes, the four curl routes, all four receivers running the same route, running the same curl route and stuff. That BS that Kellen Moore was calling and stuff, that's out of the picture. Now Dak, I feel like, is really going to be able to get the opportunity to work with what I feel like now can really help him as a player and as a QB for our team. Now, I'm not saying it's a guarantee that Dak Prescott is going to be more successful without Kellen Moore than Kellen Moore over there with the Chargers. But we're going to see. All right? All I know is we washed our hands of Kellen Moore, and I want to see what places we can go with this offense and stuff now that Kellen Moore's gone. My biggest problem with Kellen Moore, I said that we were a top 5 offense every year that he was here. But my problem with Kellen Moore is when in the games that it matters the most, when your play calling needs to be on point, he never came through. Number 1 offense in the league in 2019, his coaching debut as our offensive coordinator. Number 1 offense in the league. Pro Bowlers like Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott, and on the offensive line, Travis Frederick, Tyron Smith, and them guys, and Zach Martin, and it was a winner take all basically. If you win this game, you get into the playoffs and you are the NFC East champs. Against the Philadelphia Eagles, who had they had bums off the street playing wide receiver in that game. And they scored 2 offensive touchdowns. You want to know how many we scored? Zilch. Nada. Nothing. And yeah, man, like Kellen Moore, those are the games that your play calling needs to be on point. It needs to be on point. 2021, highest scoring offense in the league. You face the 49ers. This is the playoffs now. This is the playoffs. And what do? You score 7 points through the first 3 effing quarters of the game. And we fortunately were able to roar back and get back into that football game, but it was almost too late. You know, had we not put ourselves in that position in the first place, Kellen Moore, then we probably would have won that game. All right, we probably could have won that game, but no. And then this year, literally last Sunday, against the 49ers in the divisional round, you were able to get past Tom Brady and the Buccaneers and get over that hump of not being able to beat him. But then you play the 49ers, and Tony Pollard goes out with a high ankle sprain. And then all of a sudden, the offense changed. All right? The offense changed. I will admit, if Dak Prescott would have played better, I think we would have won that game. I do. But, gosh, I can't give Kellen Moore a free pass on this one. Because you got to be able to make the very most of what you got. And it seemed like after Tony Pollard went out with his injury, it seemed like you folded like it's almost like as if you folded and rolled into a roly-poly or got into a fetal position somewhere in the corner as soon as Pollard went out of the game. So it is what it is, man. I'm just very interested and intrigued in who's Mike McCarthy gonna bring in, what this offense is gonna look like now, and what Dak Prescott can work with, and he's gonna get weapons. I promise you. I watched Cowboys fan talk, and I'm with them. You know, the Joneses, they're gonna give him weapons now. After what you saw the Philadelphia Eagles do after bringing in A.J. Brown and whatever to help out the Eagles offense and their receiving core, and now they're about to compete to play for the Super Bowl, against Patrick Mahomes. Oh yeah, trust me, they're going to give him some weapons in this offseason, whether it's free agency or in the draft. I think that we're going to draft a running back or a wide receiver in the draft. Mark my words. They're going to give him some weapons. And with the offense changing and Mike McCarthy can bring in who he wants to bring in, I think it might pay dividends. But we'll see. Look, if next year Kellen Moore and the Chargers have the best offense in the NFL and they go and cruise in the playoffs and whatever with Justin Herbert being the league MVP and our offense is near the bottom of the NFL and Dak Prescott has statistically his worst season of his career and whatever and we miss the playoffs, then I will suck up my pride and I will go on air on this video on camera and I will say I was wrong about Kellen Moore and I was wrong about Dak Prescott. I will. But I like our chances. So, with that being said, that has been my time. Like, subscribe, and this is NFL Thoughts, out.